They say funerals bring out the truth in people. I just didn't expect mine would come out, in front of 200 mourners and a casket. Everyone was crying when I grabbed the mic, but no one cried harder than my husband when he realized I knew everything. But let me start from the beginning. I, 34F, thought I had the perfect marriage. My husband Ethan, 36 meters, was the kind of man everyone adored. Charming, reliable, the good son. His mother worshipped him. His co-workers called him a saint. And I built my whole world around him. We'd been together 8 years. He'd seen me through losing my job, a miscarriage, my father's cancer. I thought he was my anchor. But anchors can drown you just as easily as they hold you steady. 2 months ago, I was looking for my passport in Ethan's desk drawer when I found something that didn't belong, a sealed envelope with my name written in his handwriting. Inside was a printed email sent from a private address. ID never seen. If she ever finds out about us, it's over. Keep your distance until after the funeral. The funeral, I didn't understand his mother was alive then, healthy. Even I scrolled through his phone that night. I know, I shouldn't have, but my gut was screaming. I found the rest of the emails. He'd been having an affair for over a year with someone. I knew. Someone who would be sitting next to me in just a few weeks, dressed in black. The next morning, Ethan told me his mother had fallen and was in the hospital. 2 weeks later, she passed. I stood beside him through every tear, every condolence, pretending I didn't know. But when I saw the woman at the funeral, the woman who had signed that email, something inside me snapped. So when it was time to speak, I took the mic and I told the truth. The air inside the church was heavy, the kind of suffocating silence that only comes after grief and gossip mix. I still remember the way the microphone felt in my hand, trembling slightly, my pulse louder than the organ music. I didn't plan to speak. But when I saw her, Claire, sitting 3 rows behind Ethan, eyes red, pretending to be family, something inside me turned cold. So I walked up to the podium. I wasn't even planning to say anything. I began, my voice steady despite the storm in my chest. But there is something you all deserve to know, especially you, Ethan. He looked up sharply. The color drained from his face. I saw panic flicker behind his eyes, but he couldn't move, not without drawing more attention. Your mother raised you to be honest, didn't she? I said, forcing a bitter smile. She believed in truth and loyalty. I just wish you did too. The whispers started immediately. People turned toward him. Claire froze. Ethan mouthed something. Don't, but I was past the point of restraint. I found your emails. I continued, all of them. You said you'd keep your distance until after the funeral. Well, it's after. Gasps. Someone dropped a hymnal. Claire stood up, face pale as chalk. Ethan grabbed the edge of the pew like it was the only thing keeping him upright. The priest tried to calm me down, but it was too late. Years of humiliation, lies, and blind trust exploded in one breath. I told them how long it had been going on. How he lied to both of us. How he promised Claire that once his mother passed, he'd finally be free. The room erupted, some people shouting, others storming out. His sister slapped him across the face. And Ethan, he didn't deny a thing. He just looked at me, eyes full of something between hatred and guilt, and said, you ruined everything. Then he walked out of his mother's funeral. By the time I got home from the funeral, my phone was already blowing up. Apparently someone had filmed the entire scene. My speech, Ethan's reaction. Claire's meltdown, all of it. A guest's teenage daughter had uploaded it to TikTok with the caption, "This woman just exposed her cheating husband at his mother's funeral, flushed face. Skull funeral chaos cheaters." Within hours it had over 2 million views. I sat on the couch staring at my screen. Numb. Comments poured in like a flood of fire. Good for her, iconic. That poor mother. Didn't he deserve this drama at her funeral? Wait, did she just ruin his life or save her own? I didn't even know what I felt. Relief, shame, rage, it all blurred together. Ethan, on the other hand, made sure to make me the villain. By midnight, his friends had started posting support messages for him, painting me as an unstable woman. Who couldn't he handle grief? One of them even wrote that I'd mentally abused him for years. The narrative flipped so fast it gave me whiplash. Suddenly, I wasn't the betrayed wife. I was the crazy one who had hijacked a funeral. And then my job called. Apparently someone had sent my boss the video. This kind of viral attention could hurt the firm's image, she said, trying to sound sympathetic. Maybe it's best you take some time off. Time off unpaid. By the end of the week, Ethan had moved in with Claire. Their pictures started popping up on her private Instagram, which of course someone screenshot and leaked. Meanwhile, I couldn't go anywhere without people whispering. My face was everywhere: funeral wife, mic drop widow, even a meme of me holding the microphone, like a mic drop queen. But what no one knew yet was that Ethan hadn't just been unfaithful. He'd even lying about money too. And the next discovery would make the funeral scene look like a warm-up point. 2 weeks after the funeral, I was living like a ghost in my own house. Ethan hadn't come back for his things, which was fine by me, but his absence left behind a silence so loud it hurt. Every drawer, every closet, every reminder of him felt toxic. I decided to start packing his stuff myself, just to get it out. That's when I found the second envelope. It was taped under the bottom drawer of his nightstand. A thin white envelope, same handwriting as before. Inside were bank statements, but not from our joint account. They were from an investment account in Ethan's name, opened 3 years ago, with my signature forged on some of the forms. At first I thought it was just his secret savings, until I noticed where the money came from. Monthly transfers, small, steady, all from my business account. My business, the graphic design studio I'd built from scratch. He'd been siphoning off a few $100s every month, disguised as software expenses, until it added up to nearly $46,000. My hands went cold. My breath came in shallow gasps. He just cheated on me emotionally. He'd even stealing from me. I took screenshots, printed everything, and called my accountant, who confirmed my worst fear. Ethan had been quietly rerouting payments from a vendor he helped me manage. I trusted him with access, and he dosed it to drain me dry. When I called Ethan, he didn't even deny it. He just said, "You embarrassed me in front of everyone. Nora, you got what you deserved." That's when I realized the funeral wasn't revenge. It was justice. But it wasn't over. Because what Ethan didn't know was that his mother's will had just gone through probate, and the lawyer handling it, a family friend of mine. When she called me the next day, her voice was trembling. "Nora, you need to see this. Ethan's mother left everything to you." I thought I misheard her. "Sorry, what do you mean everything?" I asked. The lawyer Marlene sighed softly. Ethan's mother updated her will 6 months before she passed. The estate, the house, her savings, everything. "It's all in your name, Nora." Not his. I sat there speechless. Ethan's mother, Margaret, and I had always been close, closer honestly than she and Ethan were. She once told me I was the daughter she never had. But still it didn't to make sense. She said, "You were the only one who ever showed her genuine kindness," Marlene continued. She wanted her legacy to go to someone who actually cared. For a long time I just stared at the document. Ethan's name was nowhere, not even a small inheritance. Just mine, clean and final. I don't know how long I sat there before my phone started buzzing. It was Ethan. Dozens of messages, one after another. "You need to call me now. Don't do anything stupid. You're not keeping that money." Then one that made my blood run cold. "If you think you can take what is mine, I'll make your life hell." The irony almost made me laugh. "What is yours?" I thought. "You took my love, my trust, and $46,000. You took my peace." That night I changed the locks, blocked his number, and hired a lawyer of my own. The next morning, I woke up to see Ethan and Claire outside the gate, screaming, banging on the fence like lunatics. Claire was crying, shouting that Margaret would never do this. Neighbors came out. Someone filmed it again. By noon there was another viral clip titled, "Cheater shows up at ex's house after learning his mom left everything to her skull." The internet had already chosen sides. Half the comments called it instant karma. The other half said I was cruel and vindictive. But the truth, I hadn't he planned any of this. I didn't he take his mother's money. I inherited her trust literally and figuratively. Still I knew Ethan wouldn't he stop there. Because the next time I saw him, he wasn't he begging. He was suing me. The official letter arrived on a gray Tuesday morning. Thick paper, embossed logo. Cold words that made my stomach twist. Notice of intent to file suit. Ethan was claiming that I had manipulated his dying mother into changing her will. He accused me of elder coercion, forgery, and emotional abuse. 3 words that could ruin my life if anyone believed them at first. I laughed. Then I realized he was serious. My lawyer, Daniel, looked grim as he read the documents. "He is banking on public sympathy. He said you went viral twice. He is playing the victim now, trying to twist the narrative." And twist it he did. Ethan started giving interviews. He went on a local podcast called Love, Lies and Justice, telling listeners that I isolated his mother and turned her against him. He cried on camera. Actual tears. The comments section exploded with support. "She ruined a man at his lowest. You can see the pain in his eyes." Meanwhile, I was losing clients left and right. My design studio had become radioactive. No one wanted to be associated with the funeral wife. But karma, real karma, has perfect timing. One night Daniel called me and said, "You're not going to believe this. Ethan's case just collapsed." Apparently his lawyer had filed evidence. That included an old voice memo, a recording Ethan himself had made of a fight with his mother, where he screamed that she was a bitter old hag who never appreciated him. In the background you could hear her say, "Weak but steady, everything I own will go to Nora. She's the only one who has been kind to me." The internet turned on him instantly. The clip leaked within hours. Suddenly, the same people who defended him were calling him a narcissist, a liar, a gold digger with mommy issues. He deleted his social media, but the damage was done. Still, he wasn't finished, because 3 days later, I got a message from an unknown number. A single photo. It was of me asleep in my bed. The photo stopped my heartbeat cold. It was me asleep in my own bed. The same comforter, same lamp. Same position I'd fallen asleep in the night before. The timestamp was 3 a.m. Someone had been inside my house for a full minute. I couldn't breathe. I checked every lock, every window, every closet. I knew I'd changed the locks after Ethan left. I'd even installed cameras, but somehow someone had gotten in. I called Daniel first. Then the police, they came, took a report, and promised to review the footage. But when I pulled up the camera feed, the screen went black halfway through the night. Power cut. Whoever it was knew what they were doing. That night I didn't sleep. I sat on the couch, lights on, clutching a kitchen knife I didn't even realize I'd grabbed. By morning, Ethan posted something cryptic on a burner account people recognized immediately as his. Some people deserve to lose more than money. I took screenshots, sent them to the police, filed for a restraining order. But in small-town America, things move slowly. Every time a car drove by, I froze. Every creak made me jump. My friends told me to go stay somewhere else, but it felt wrong, like running would give him power. Still, I packed a small bag and stayed at my friend Lila's for the weekend. And thank God I did. Because when I came home Monday morning, the back door was open. Nothing stolen. Nothing broken. Just a single thing left behind on the kitchen counter beside my coffee mug. A photo of Ethan and me on our wedding day, torn clean down the middle. I didn't even call him this time. I called the detective directly. They dusted for prints. A week later I got a call. "We found something," the detective said. "But it's not what we expected. The fingerprints don't belong to Ethan." I swallowed hard. Then who? He hesitated. "Claire." When the detective said her name, I actually laughed, that kind of sharp, hollow laugh that sounds more like a scream. "Claire, that has to be a mistake," I said. "Why would she break into my house?" But it wasn't a mistake. Her prints were on the torn photo, the doorknob, even the kitchen counter. The detective sighed. She used a duplicate key. Probably one Ethan gave her while he still lived here. I felt sick. Not just because she'd been in my home, but because in some twisted way, it made sense. Claire had always been strange around me, even before the affair. We'd worked at the same marketing agency years ago. She used to copy my style, clothes, jewelry, even how I wore my hair. I brushed it off as flattery back then. But now it felt like warning signs I'd ignored. The detective advised me to change locks again and add a full alarm system. I did. I also installed motion sensors and cameras. I could monitor from my phone. 2 days later, I got another message from an unknown number. "You stole him. You will pay for what you did." I knew that handwriting. I'd seen it on old birthday cards. Ethan showed me it was hers. I called the police again, but since she hadn't technically threatened violence, there wasn't much they could do. "We'll keep an eye out," the officer said, like that meant anything. That night Lila came over and refused to leave me alone. We were watching TV when the motion alert on my phone went off. Front porch. We looked at the feed and froze. It was Claire standing at my door, wearing one of my old jackets. Hair dyed dark just like mine. She stood there for 5 full minutes, staring directly into the camera. Then she smiled this slow, eerie smile and whispered something before walking away. I replayed the clip 20 times, zooming in until I finally caught it. "He still dreams about you." My stomach turned to ice. But what she didn't know, what neither of them knew, was that I'd already hired someone of my own, a private investigator. And what he found next would destroy everything they'd tried to build together. The investigator Marcus called me late one night. His voice was tight with urgency. "Nora, I've got everything. Pictures, recordings, receipts. They've even laundering money together, hiding assets, and Claire has been planning to move in with Ethan permanently. She even falsified documents to access his mother's estate if something happened to her." I felt my stomach drop. This wasn't just an affair. This was full-blown conspiracy. Marcus sent me folders, encrypted files with hundreds of pages, screenshots of emails transfers from Margaret's account. Ethan had tried to intercept Claire's voice memos, plotting how to isolate me from the inheritance, even a recording of Claire bragging to a friend, "Once he inherits the house, it's mine." Nora 1 TC. A dime. I sat on the floor, clutching my phone, stunned. I realized why Claire had broken in. She wasn't obsessed with me. Not really. She was trying to scare me, intimidate me, and make me look unstable so Ethan could claim the estate and pin it on me. The next morning, I filed all the evidence with my lawyer and the police. The proof was airtight: bank fraud, conspiracy, harassment. Both Ethan and Claire were facing serious charges. Then came the viral twist. I posted a short thread on Reddit Anonymous, summarizing the situation. Within hours it went viral. People called it the ultimate karma story. Cheating husband gets destroyed by his own lies. Mic drop level revenge. Unlike before, this time the internet unanimously sided with me. Comments poured in, not just praising me but offering support, sympathy, even help with security measures. And then, for the first time in months, I felt free. No threats, no harassment, no viral shaming. Just the truth finally out. But I still had one thing to do, one final step to ensure they could never hurt me again. It was a crisp Saturday morning when everything finally felt quiet. Ethan and Claire were officially banned from my property. Legal papers, restraining orders, and Marcus's investigation had done their job. Both were facing charges for fraud, harassment, and conspiracy, a combination that would keep them busy in court for months, maybe years. I sat on my porch, coffee in hand, staring at the sunrise. The house, Margaret's house, now fully mine, felt different. Not empty, not haunted. Safe. Solid. A place I could finally breathe. I'd spent months replaying every betrayal, every lie, but now I realized something crucial. None of it was about revenge anymore. It was about reclaiming my life, my peace, my identity. The studio was reopening. Clients who had fled during the viral chaos returned once the truth came out, and the internet. They didn't stop sharing my story, but this time it was framed as resilience, not scandal. Even my friends, who had stayed quietly in the background, celebrated. Lila threw me a small welcome back brunch. She toasted to the woman who survived betrayal, humiliation, and harassment, and came out stronger. I smiled, realizing that I wasn't the same person who had grabbed that microphone at the funeral. That Nora had been broken, desperate, angry. But I had survived. I had learned that justice isn't always about punishment. Sometimes it's about truth, courage, and protecting yourself. And then I did something I never thought I'd do. I donated a portion of Margaret S. estate to a local women's shelter. Women who were betrayed, threatened, or abused. Women who needed a fresh start. It felt right. Full circle. Later I sat in my office opening a new notebook. I began writing not emails, not plans for revenge, but a novel. A story about a woman who found strength in chaos, who discovered that the truth can be terrifying, but also liberating. And for the first time in years, I slept through the night without fear. Ethan and Claire, they were out there somewhere, facing the consequences of their choices. But I didn't care. I had my life back. And sometimes that is all the revenge you need.